Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and one of the most respected academics in Nigeria, Professor Abdullahi Zuru, was attacked in a case of mistaken identity by angry party faithful. The people of Kebbi State have condemned the attack as one of their illustrious sons. Our second guest of the day will join us for the discussion on this issue. I am joined by Abdullahi Idris Zuru for discussion on the Adamawa supplementary poll and the attack on the INEC National Commissioner. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. If you can hear me, let's start with the harassment of the INEC National Commissioner during the supplementary poll. How did you react? How did you react to the news?
It's really a very unfortunate situation. Very unfortunate in the sense that Professor Abdullahi Zuru, an internationally acclaimed educational developer, he is recognized as one of the most hardworking, exposed, and academically straightforward academician in this country, and has made his vital contribution to the educational development in Nigeria and even beyond. What is more worrisome in this case, which also disturbs His Royal Highness the Emir of Zuru, Major General Muhammad Usani Sami Gomo II, Professor Zuru is a pride not only to the people of Zuru Emirate, to the people of Kebbi State, but going by his contribution to educational development, having served as a Vice Chancellor, Kebbi State University of Science and Technology, a Vice Chancellor, Usman Danfodi University, Sokoto, and now recognized as very honest, straightforward, committed nationalist, patriotic, and made National Commissioner of Independent National Electoral Commission, representing the Northwest. Professor Abdullahi Zuru shouldn't be mistaken to be the Electoral Commissioner in Adamawa State, Mr. Hudu. Mr. Hudu is residing in Adamawa. He has been staying there. He has been working with all the political parties in Adamawa State. So one wonder how Professor Zuru would have been mistaken to be Regional Electoral Commissioner Adamawa State, Mr. Hudu. The truth of the matter is it needs to be thoroughly and squarely investigated. The Emir of Zuru is much disturbed, just like all the indigenous of Zuru, wherever they are in this country. Professor Abdul Zuru holds the traditional title of Masalin Zuru. If you go by the contribution, or if the academic community in this country are contacted or their views are seeked on the honesty, integrity, dedication, and commitment of Professor Abdullahi Zuru to the educational development of this country, you will hear much about it. But surprisingly, this patriotic nationalist was openly humiliated, attacked, such that only a certified bandit, even a certified bandit in this country, cannot be treated the way Abdullahi Professor has been treated by the political talks in Adamawa states. That is why His Royal Highness the Emir of Zuru, Major General Muhammad Usani Sami, and the entire people of Zuru Emirate are very much disturbed. The constitution of this country has clearly spelled out punishments to be meted on any person or group of persons that attempt to disrupt the electoral process. The Electoral Act clearly expatiates on what the constitution contains, on what should be done, and how such people, if at all, it should be treated. But in this case, the constitution of this Netherlands has been thrown to the dogs. The Electoral Act has not been respected by the way and manner the political talks, or I can say higher political sort, manhandled and attacked Professor Abdullahi. You can see how a human being,
all right,
a nationalist, a committed leader,
Mr. Zuru, just like you have rightly pointed out, the Zuru Emirate and people of Kebbi State have expressed anger over the attack on Professor Zuru, a former Vice Chancellor of Kebbi State University of Science and Technology. But why is this attack so regrettable to Kebbi people?
It is regrettable because, like I said earlier, Professor Zuru is a pride to the people of Zuru Emirate. And by extension, to the people of Kebbi State, considering his contribution to peaceful coexistence, educational development in that part of the country. And having been selected to represent 7 states of the Northwest at the National Electoral Commission, it is really regrettable. It's regrettable because since the incidents, to date, to my knowledge, no single political security agency has come out with a clear explanation on how it happened. And supplementary elections in Adamawa State was attended and was guided by all the security agencies in this country. Their representatives were there, so they cannot claim to be ignorant of what actually happened to Professor Abdullahi. Who masterminded the attack, how it was carried out. Nobody, all the security agencies at that point in time can claim ignorance on how and who masterminded the attack on Prof. Abdullahi. So the silence from both Adamawa State government on the incident, the silence of the federal government and its security agencies on what happened and how it happened to Abdullahi Zuru in Adamawa State is questionable.
All right, Mr. Zuru, from what we know, the DSS says it is investigating this attack. So we'll wait for the report on that. But then, what more can you tell us about Professor Abdullahi Zuru, who was also at one time Vice Chancellor of Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto State?
Thank you.
If you can hear me, I'm asking, what more can you tell us about Professor Zuru, who was also at one time Vice Chancellor of Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto State?
Well, Mr.
Zuru, can you hear me? All right, let me go once more.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so what more can you tell us? What more can you tell us about Professor Zuru, who was also at one time Vice Chancellor of Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto State?
The academic community in this country, I mean, at all the educational institutions, are in a better position to tell you who Professor Abdullahi Zuru is, because he has either worked in those universities or taught in those universities or attended seminars, conferences in those universities together with those academicians in other universities of this country. So they are in a better position. I, for one, is my brother, and if from my own place, Zuru Emirate, I can tell you how he steadily progressed in his academic pursuit and become an authority in educational development in this country. So the academicians, the professors, the vice chancellors of most of these universities can say better about Abdullahi Zuru. But one thing remains, that whoever is going to talk about Abdullahi Zuru must talk about his commitment to duty, his sincerity of purpose, his integrity. That is why he kept on rising. He kept on rising. wherever he goes. And that was when he was identified as a suitable person to be in the Independent National Electoral Commission as a commissioner. So it is worrisome to the people of Kebbi State, particularly His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zuru, who, as I'm talking to you now, His Royal Highness is most worried, and he's trying all his best to see that justice is done. Professor Zuru gets justice for what has happened. An additional apology happened to Professor Abdullahi Zuru, to the people of Zuru Emirate, and indeed the people of Kebbi State.
All right. So many analysts blamed what happened on the influence of money on our politics. How do we achieve an electoral process that is untainted by money politics, Mr. Zuru?
The electoral process has made it very clear that whoever is involved or is engaged in politics of money, bribery, and corruption during electoral process, the Electoral Act is very clear, as made clear, as also contained in the Constitution. See, proper security must be carried out on such allegations, and until he is found guilty, he should not be allowed to be treated like this. It's like they housed up the whole thing. They threw away the Constitution and the Electoral Acts. The process of investigating those found guilty or those attempting to create confusion in the electoral process. Is that the way people should be allowed to take laws into their hands, or mere rumors? And in fact, on this issue, which at the end of the day, it was believed to be mistaken identity, electoral commissioner that has been residing in the state for years, is somebody that visited the state once in a year, or just visited the state for national assignment, and you say you mistake him to somebody. Something must be fishy. So, like his Royal Highness the Emir of Zuru insisted, and he is still insisting and demanding that justice must be done for justice. All right. Thorough investigation must be carried out, and those culprits must be brought to book and prosecuted.
So what do you think can be done to checkmate vote buying in our electoral process?
Vote buying, you see, there are so many ways of vote buying, as was displayed or shown during the Presidential, National Assembly, and State elections. Yes, the present government has blocked money going around, but other things that some things, certain things were monetized and given to the electorate. The only way that this problem can be solved should be from the party. If the people of the party, members of the party in a particular constituency, are allowed to independently choose who they want to represent them, the money politics will minimize. But a situation where somebody will just come overnight and claim to love the people and to know their problems.
Mr. Zuru, sadly we're out of time. But in 30 seconds, if you're to advise the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu, which 4 areas will you want it to focus on in 30 seconds?
If they should go back to the incoming administration, should go back and checkmate the party politics, party primaries, conduct of party primaries, allowing everybody that has interest, that has something to offer to his people, allowed to contest.
I must say very thank you to you for joining us tonight. I've been speaking with the Sadaukin of Zuru, Abdullahi Idris Zuru, for discussion on Adamawa's supplementary poll and the attack on the INEC National Commissioner. And it's important also to say that I'm sure Nigerians are patiently waiting for a comprehensive report on this regrettable attack. And of course, the justice will prevail.